Hey everyone! Welcome to the Bold and Beautiful 24. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. Ridge's future at Forrester Creations is at risk due to Steffi and Thomas's rage. Thomas Forrester is on the verge of losing it at Ridge Forrester's decision to dump his mother in Bold and the Beautiful. In a few weeks, Steffi Forrester will return. She will also be really angry. I wonder whether Steffi and Thomas will band together to discipline their father. We will discuss whether Thomas and his sister Steffi conspire to exact some revenge on their beloved father, Ridge. Additionally, if they manage to expel him from Forrester Creations. Thomas addresses Brooke and Ridge's deceit and betrayal. When Thomas asked Ridge last week if he was staying with Taylor Hayes, we could clearly see Ridge sidestepping the subject. That seemed to me like he was lying to his son when he should have told him the truth. Naturally, it happened after Thomas entered Forrester Creations and saw Ridge holding Brooke Logan. Thomas confronted Brooke this week as Ridge was telling Taylor that he was going back to Brooke, urging her to stay out of my parents' way. Instead, Brooke told Thomas that Ridge had never proposed to Taylor and that she and Ridge had experienced this pivotal moment in Italy. Naturally, Thomas is indifferent to the fact that Taylor, not Ridge, made the proposal. They are getting married. He also orders Brooke to move away. It goes without saying that she won't. Taylor, meanwhile, was attempting to stop Ridge from rejecting her. He hasn't changed his mind despite Taylor's tirade about Brooke's tendency to do dirty things. He intends to proceed with formally ending his relationship with Taylor. To make matters worse, it appears that Ridge practically instantly pops the question to Brooke. I spotted a picture of Catherine Kelly Lang taken behind the scenes. She was dressed as Brooke. This week's spoilers appear to be confirmed by the large gem she had on her ring finger. She will, of course, accept Ridge's proposal. She will also probably attempt to get Ridge married as soon as possible, I wager. Angry Steffi and Thomas force Ridge to leave FC in Bold and the Beautiful? Soap dirt. Steffi's comeback and the imminent family disagreement. According to spoilers, Steffi arrived in time for Ridge's wedding, but it appears that she intended to attend as Taylor's mother's daughter, not as the irate ex. Ultimately, Thomas and Steffi will be upset with their father regardless of how Ridge tries to defend his behavior. Ridge and Brooke's situation might go very wrong. Additionally, for Eric Forrester, who encouraged Ridge to dump Taylor and return to Brooke. Therefore, I believe that Steffi and Thomas might also be disenchanted with their grandfather, Eric. Naturally, Steffi and Thomas will be present to console their mother, Taylor. Will Steffi and Thomas, however, also determine that Ridge must make the payment? Perhaps Eric and Brooke also do. Thomas's indignation and Taylor's heartbreak. Thomas is going to return to see Taylor after his unpleasant conversation with Brooke. Taylor will obviously be upset because she was just dumped. Even worse, Taylor now has to pack her things and depart the Forrester mansion, basically in a walk of shame, after Ridge abandoned her. Even worse, Taylor can be harassed by Donna Logan and Katie Logan as she leaves. It simply sounds terrible. Thomas will lose it when he learns that Ridge switched fiancés and is now engaged to Brooke. Thomas will undoubtedly tell Steffi the whole extent of their dad's abuse of their mother. Ridge proceeded to break Taylor's heart once more. Thomas and Steffi's emotional states, a formula for retaliation. We now know that Thomas isn't feeling well following his breakup with Paris Buckingham and the disclosure that her mother was abusing Liam Spencer, which also had an impact on Hope Logan. Naturally, Steffi has gone to recover after being devastated by the Buckingham's Liam fraud. In addition, Steffi was heartbroken by Liam's shooting, and Luna Nozawa was obviously prepared to murder Steffi as well. When she returns to town, she might not be in the best of moods. Or perhaps Steffi managed to gather her thoughts before being devastated by the news of Ridge and Taylor. When he reconciled with Taylor, Ridge made a vow to Steffi that he would not break her mother's heart. However, Ridge has gone ahead and done just that, running straight to Brooke once more. I therefore anticipate that Steffi and Thomas will be quite resentful of their father. The ultimate weapon of revenge. Forrester Creations? Naturally, Steffi and Thomas might attempt to ruin Brooke and Ridge's wedding. Perhaps they choose to hit their father where it hurts, though. Perhaps Steffi and Thomas decide that utilizing Forrester Creations is the best method to crush Ridge, Eric, and Brooke. What if Steffi and Thomas retaliated against their father and grandfather by using the family business? When we last heard, the ownership structure of Forrester Creations was as follows. Thomas holds 5% of the company, while Ridge owns 20%. Although Thomas was allowing Ridge to vote his 5%, the company ultimately belonged to Tomas. Thomas had 5%, and Ridge had 20%. Steffi and Eric jointly owned the remaining 75% of Forrester Creations. 37.5% of Forrester Creations is owned by each of them. The right time for Bold to make a change. Therefore, it wouldn't be sufficient for Thomas and Steffi to perform their own coup if the split was as it was when we last heard it. But this is the ideal moment for Bold and the Beautiful to switch things up and announce that the company's ownership has changed. For example, they may defend it by claiming that Walton took over and was operating the business after Hope and Carter staged the coup. You know, there might have been a shift of ownership when Carter returned the business despite Hope's protests. Bold and the Beautiful may argue that when Carter returned it, Ridge and Eric divided it among the following generation already working for the company. Perhaps they adjusted the percentages because Ridge's 2 eldest children, Steffi and Thomas, already had ownership shares. Additionally, Steffi and Thomas might cause chaos and penalize Ridge and others if they own more than 50% of the company. A brave and lovely pair. Getting rid of Ridge, Eric, and Brooke. Thomas mentioned feeling unattached because he isn't working on a line at the moment, if you recall. He may, in fact, replace Ridge as a couture designer. If Steffi and Thomas could just leave and say, "You want to break our mom Taylor's heart and run back to Brooke?" I believe it would be entertaining. All right. However, we don't want you here, therefore you should go find work elsewhere. You're out of the family business because you betrayed them. Eric also helped bring Brooke and Ridge back together and break up with their mother. Eric can possibly be kicked out by Steffi and Thomas. These days, he doesn't do a lot of designing. In retaliation for Taylor, they might also dismiss Brooke while they're at it. Since their family was about to be complete again until Brooke destroyed it, I could understand Thomas and Steffi seeking retribution for both Taylor's sake and their own. Thus, this would be the ideal form of retaliation. Let's see how it turns out. The ownership percentages are crucial to this whole situation, yet Bold can alter history any way they see fit. And they could declare with certainty that everything altered following Carter's revolution. The time is ideal. Thomas and Steffi might remove Ridge from Forrester Creations and push Eric to the sidelines if they have the authority to do so. They may want to hit Ridge where will hurt most for him doing their mom Taylor so dirty. Steffi and Thomas's rage is about to boil over in a way that threatens not only Ridge Forrester's future at Forrester Creations but also the fragile balance of their entire family, because while the Bold and the Beautiful has given us decades of triangle drama between Ridge, Taylor, and Brooke, what's unfolding now feels like the moment when the kids step in and say enough is enough. And that's where the raw fury of Thomas and the righteous anger of Steffi come into play, because when Ridge once again chose Brooke over Taylor, he didn't just break Taylor's heart, he broke a promise to his children, and for Thomas and Steffi, that betrayal cuts so deep that it transforms into a hunger for revenge, a desire not just to scold their father or turn their backs on him, but to actively dismantle the foundation of his life. And the weapon they have at their disposal is none other than Forrester Creations itself, the crown jewel of the family that has always been more than a business. It's been a symbol of unity, legacy, and loyalty, and yet Ridge's disloyalty to Taylor, his inability to stay true to the woman who has supported him through thick and thin, now threatens to unravel everything. It all started when Thomas caught Ridge in a moment of weakness. His father holding Brooke in his arms at the very office where Taylor had been made to believe she had a real chance at forever, and when Thomas confronted him directly, asking him point-blank if he was staying with Taylor, Ridge dodged, evaded, hedged, and in doing so, might as well have lied to his son's face, because the truth is that Ridge already knew where his heart was going, back to Brooke as it always seems to go, and the betrayal stung all the more because not long ago Ridge had sworn to Steffi that he would not hurt Taylor again, that he would put her first, that he would make their family whole, but now those promises are dust, and as Taylor rants in her heartbreak, raging against Brooke for playing dirty as she always does, Ridge holds firm to his decision, running back into Brooke's arms, and not only that but apparently dropping to one knee almost instantly to propose to her, putting a ring on her finger that screams to the world that he's not just back with Brooke, he's binding himself to her again in the most public way possible. And while Brooke beams, eager to get him down the aisle before anyone can object, Thomas fumes because he knows his mother is at home, broken and humiliated, forced to pack her bags and leave the Forrester mansion in what can only be described as a walk of shame, possibly heckled by Katie and Donna Logan on her way out, and for Thomas, that image alone lights a fire inside him that will not be quenched with mere words, and when Steffi returns, she too will be blindsided because she left town holding on to the fragile hope that her parents were finally going to build a real future together, only to come back to the nightmare that her father has not only dumped her mother again but run headlong back into Brooke's arms, and the rage that will course through her veins is something viewers have seen before, but rarely with this level of intensity, because this time it isn't just about love lost, it's about betrayal of trust, it's about the fracture of a promise. It's about Ridge once again choosing Brooke over the stability and happiness of his children, and Steffi, who has already endured trauma after trauma, from Liam's shooting to Luna's threats, may find that her patience has worn so thin that she is ready not just to lash out but to join forces with Thomas in something bigger, a coup that could forever alter the power dynamics at Forrester Creations. Because here's the thing. Forrester Creations isn't just Ridge's playground, it's the family business. And as of the last known ownership breakdown, Ridge only held 20% while Thomas had 5% of his own, a piece he often allowed Ridge to vote, and Eric and Steffi each held 37.5%, but soap history is fluid, rewritten as needed, and with the Carter Hope coup and the messy